My name is Sadie Trevino, and I will be doing my persuasive speech over why pit bulls are not the vicious dogs that people paint them to be. There are many myths that have been associated with the pit bull due to its unfair nature that it has been put into by people, and that is the fact that they're put into dogfighting arenas and that they are given up for euthanasia before even given a chance to have a home. They have one of the highest dog euthanasia rates across the board at about 93 to 95%, which is much higher than any other rate you will see among dogs or any other animal due to the stigma that they have been given. Some common myths associated with pit bulls is that they have locking jaws, which is not true because there is not any special mechanism in the pit bull's skull that allows them to lock onto animals. They just have a higher bite force than most dogs, so whenever they bite on, it's harder for them to tend to let go. Another myth is that pit bulls are inherently dangerous to other animals or to people. This is highly untrue. As someone who owns a pit bull and has over my whole life, I've always had one. My pit bulls have always been the sweetest and most caring dogs that there have ever been. They have always kind of guarded over me, and they were once associated with being the nanny dog of the dog breed, which means that they took care of the children in the family that they were raised with. And my pit bull personally, she watches over my smaller dog that I have, and she doesn't let other animals try to mess with her because she's 13 and my pit bull's about 7 now. And around my area, there were at least 3 pits that were dropped off, and they all had very similar injuries where they had a rope tied around their neck, and it was about this deep into mine's skin to where she still has a giant scar around it. And this is very common for pit bulls because people tie them up and use them as either bait dogs or fight dogs, where they more or less just have to fight for their own life. And another myth is that they're dangerous to adopt and put into your home unknowingly. And this is very untrue, but also it stands for any other dog breed that you could adopt because the temperament of one dog does not determine the temperament of another dog. You can have one that's a complete angel and have one that is the polar opposite and wants to tear everything up. And this stands for any dog breed that you can find out there, not just pit bulls. As someone who has shadowed a vet, I have had pit bulls come in with very similar injuries to mine, where they're used as bait dogs and they're tied up or they are attacked by other dogs just to provoke a fight. And this is very unfair to the dog. And being raising a dog like this is what makes them into the stigma that we see now, where they're more or less violent towards other animals. This is not something that they inherit from their parents. It's something that they're raised with being. If you raise a dog to be gentle, it'll be gentle. But if you raise a dog to have to fight for its life anytime it sees another dog, it's instinctively not going to like other dogs or like most people, because my pit bull did not like men for the longest time due to the fact that she was abused and she was mistreated by her previous owners. All of this is why pit bulls are not, they're not the animals that people would make them out to be anymore. They are they're gaining more popularity amongst the population, and some are even starting to be used as canine service animals for police. And this is good progress, but we still need to make better of it. There are still fight arenas going on and still dog fighting that needs to be addressed and needs to be stopped due to the nature of pit bulls. This is not true, and it breaks my heart to see people treat animals like this.